And we are live, ladies and gentlemen, episode 103. And it wouldn't be an amazing episode in 2022. Dare I say an entire lineup of 2022 without our very own long-range shooter and one of our best friends. Cam Hayes is back, ladies and gentlemen. Yay, round of applause.
Yay. We love Cam.
We do. Buddy, it's good to see your face again.
Yeah, I wish I could say the same about you guys, but I'd be lying.
That's a fair statement. I'll let it stand.
You're like, wow, salt already. All right, that's the end. Bye, guys.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's been what, 4 months, something like that.
At least 100,000 years.
Yes, like easily. Yeah, and I mean, if we're counting in fuel prices, it's at least 3-4 feet.
Speaking of fuel prices.
Yeah, White Claw time.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, very, very awesome, kind of show we've got lined up for you, at least in theory, right? So, for those that, for the unindoctrinated, Cam Hayes is our resident long-range shooting expert. And quite frankly, Cam, you done did a thing where you learned to shoot farther, better, faster, stronger. I don't know, something with the remix and drop the beat.
You proved that you could already shoot real good and got a piece of paper.
There you go.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Certified.
I graduated the U.S. Army sniper course. Finally.
Yeah, finally.
Yeah, so
I'm surprised they haven't made you an adjunct professor.
So for those people that don't know, or as TJ say, for those of you playing the home game, whenever I first joined the Army, I was fortunate enough to be put in a sniper section like early on. And I went to sniper tryouts, and then I got selected, and then I got a seat to sniper school. And then, this was throughout the course of a couple of years when all this went down. And then I lost my seat because the government shutdown happened. So whenever the government shutdown happened, they canceled the school. So then I ended up losing my seat. And then I was basically told, the likelihood of you getting another seat are slim and none because, it's your state only gets a certain amount of seats every year and stuff like that. So I was better off basically switching MOSs and, pretty much leaving that dream behind. So because that's what it is. It's that's been a dream of mine since I was a kid, was to go to sniper school and officially be a U.S. Army sniper. And then fast forward to where I was just about to get out of the Army, and then they talked me into staying in to be the sniper section leader for the 120th Infantry, and they even pushed really hard, just so you know, you don't have to go to sniper school to fill this position. You just have to be an 11 Bravo. That's a infantryman. And I was like, yeah, but I wanna. It's been a dream of mine since I was a kid. If I get this opportunity, I want to take it. So I finally, after 14 and a half years, got a chance to go to the U.S. Army sniper course, and I went and I crushed it, and I had a great time, and I loved it. TJ, you're probably very familiar with this. Anytime you go to an Army school or meet new Army folk, they always say, we're going to treat you like adults. And
never fucking happens.
That lasts 5 seconds, and then that shit is out the window. This is the first time I've ever been to an Army school where they actually treated us like adults, like they said they were going to, the entire course.
Good. I'm glad that we're going down this, and I just wanted to interject this real quick because one of my first questions was going to be, with having waited 14 and a half years to actually realize your dream, right, and attend this school, was it what you expected? Was it what you built up in your mind? So
no.
Did really?
No. So it was better. It was better.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah. So no, the best way I can describe it is this is the best Army school I've ever been to. And I'm not just saying that because the last school that I went to was the worst Army school I ever went to. That was infantry reclass school at the RTI in Virginia. From what I understand, that school has been fixed since then because there were so many complaints and problems.
Mm-hmm.
But this school is the best Army school I've ever been to, and like hands down, like the classes were logical, the instructors were knowledgeable. The way that the course was laid out, like there weren't any like real surprises or anything like that, which is, good for preparation. And there was zero badge holding, like badge protecting throughout the course. And it was the first time I've ever been to an Army school where it felt like the instructors they really genuinely wanted the students to pass. Like anytime I've ever been to another Army school or been to another Army anything, it's always like, we want certain people to pass, not because they're not qualified or not better or something like that. It's just, they just want a certain attrition rate, so it seems harder or something like that.
Gotcha.
That wasn't the case here. They did not want that. They wanted as many people to pass as they could without giving it to them. You still have to put in work.
That's fair.
So I went into this thinking that this was also going to be, like the hardest physical school that I was ever going to go to or had ever been to. But there was a lot of like classroom stuff. So there was a lot of mental stuff, and that's a lot more important than them knowing if you can run fast, don't get me wrong. There was plenty of physical stuff involved. Like, day zero, we had I don't know if I'm supposed to mention it or not, but we had some pretty interesting stuff then. And then of course the ghillie wash, that was a good time. It was pretty physical and stuff like that. But I went into it thinking it was going to be like basic training or worse, or a selection. And it wasn't. And I was pleasantly surprised with that. Also, I think because I was preparing, I've been preparing to go to this school since I was a kid. Even right next to me right now, like I could reach over and grab it. I've got the 32210, which is the Army Sniper Doctrine. I've got it right there. And, that's the stuff, the course material that they go over is the 32210. I've read it multiple times.
Talk about preaching to the choir.
Yeah, I was getting real ready. I was getting real ready. And I think I'm not going to say that the course was easy, but being as prepared as I was, there was nothing in sniper school that was hard for me. But keep in mind, I've been preparing for this for 14 and a half years.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, no surprise that you were a first-time go, because I know you and what a talented marksman you are.
I was not a first-time go in every event.
No, but in the course overall, right?
Oh, yeah. So actually, because most of the events are partner-based, so it's your score plus your partner's score. And I was hooked up with a rock star. Like, I love my partner Murphy, but we had a shit day on one of the qualification days for M110, and I racked us up 45 out of a potential 50 points. And I was just like, all right, bud, I've already pretty much taken her home. Just, coast on in. And he got us 20 points, which got us a grand total of 65. And that's a fail. So we actually had to G2 one of the very first events. So I was having a mini fucking heart attack thinking I was going to fail that early on for something shooting related.
Wow. Okay. So a little bit of nomenclature catch up. So you mentioned badge protecting. What is that? Okay.
Badge protecting is where you have this thing that makes you unique, whether it be an ASI, an additional skill identifier, like airborne school, air assault school, ranger, special forces, sniper, whatever these things are. And because this is what makes you unique to other people in the military, then you don't want other people to have that because it makes you special. That's what
Okay.
bad perception is. So,
Okay.
so something that I've run into is that, somebody has this thing that makes them special, like Ranger, Special Forces, Airborne, Air Assault, Sniper, whatever it might be. They have this thing that makes them special. So then whenever somebody else comes along that they don't quite like, they don't want them to have the thing that makes them special because now they're no longer special.
Gotcha. This
Yeah.
is my cookie, and you can't have it.
Yeah.
So
And
fair.
there was absolutely none of that there. They were like, these are the standards. We want you to meet these standards and surpass these standards. There was no there wasn't any personal. There was nothing personal about that. The most personal part was that they wanted you to pass.
Right.
I could see them genuinely feel bad whenever people didn't meet standards. They were like, man, it really sucks, but come back whenever you're ready, that kind of thing.
Right. Okay. And you also mentioned G2. What did you mean by that?
So you have PEs, which are practical exercises. So you have an exercise that gets you ready for a test.
Okay.
So you've got your block of instruction, classroom portion. You have PEs, practical exercises, which is you putting that into you're applying that. And then you have G1, which is your first graded event. And if you fail G1, then you go to G2.
Gotcha.
Some events had only a G1 and a G2, like the one that I failed. If I would have failed G2, then that means you go home. For some events, there are three graded. You have three opportunities to pass. But the only event that my partner and I did not G1 was the M110 UKD, and it was because of something so stupid and small and such a little detail. The scopes that we run on our M110s are second focal plane scopes. So that means that for that particular scope, you have to have it on its full power and whenever you're milling targets. So whenever my partner would mill a target, he was getting a way different mill than I was. And then we were just splitting the difference. And that was the range that we were going with.
Aha.
And it was such a large amount of difference that it was resulting in complete misses.
Gotcha. That's honestly why, for those playing the home game, that's honestly one of the reasons why I prefer a first focal plane reticle. Because if you don't study the manual, you don't understand at what zoom power essentially your optic needs to be at in order to properly range and acquire targets.
Yeah, and for this, it was this basically moving from over here to actually shoot the qualification. He had just not really bumped his scope, but kind of moved the power ring and had turned it from 10 power to 8.5 power, 8 power, somewhere in there. So it made the target, seem like it was way further away than it actually was.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right. So how long was this school? How long were you where you were, and where were you?
Arkansas. And it was, so there's two Army sniper schools. There's the one at Georgia, which is 7 weeks, and you get weekends off from what I understand, or maybe you get 1 day a week off or something like that. And then there's the one in Arkansas, and it is 6 weeks, no days off.
Gotcha.
I went to the one in Arkansas.
Huh.
Interesting.
Yeah.
42 days of school straight.
Yeah.
So I'm curious with the difference in if we look at the number of hours spent, right? Did you have any opportunities to talk with some of your cadre to see if there was any tangible difference between the two schools other than maybe terrain and atmospherics? But is the length of time in the school, is it the same school?
They have to go over the same POI. So there's a set POI that they have to follow.
Right.
And they're extremely hand tied in that way, in kind of an unfair way. If I may be so bold as to say, it's unfair that the Arkansas school has to follow the POI, and they can't change anything within the POI because they're so far away from Benning where it's built, where the POI is built. So at Benning, they can say, hey, we want to, I mean, I'm not saying this actually happens, but this is something they could do. They could say, hey, we want to try something for future classes that might make this better. So we would like to change something, for this class, and it's not going to be graded or something like that. And they can do that at Benning just like that. Whereas in Arkansas, they just have to follow the POI because they're so far away from it.
So Arkansas has to wait for everything to be validated by Big Daddy Benning.
Yeah.
Before they can implement it. Okay.
Yeah. And, towards the end of the course, they said, you just passed the best Army school in the world. And I thought about what do these words mean? You just passed the best Army school in the world, or sniper school. I'm sorry. You just passed the best sniper school in the world. And I was really trying to break down what those words mean. They probably didn't mean shit by it. It was probably just you're the best of the best of the best, sir, kind of shit. But their pass rate, where they have to follow a certain grading criteria and standard, there's a task, condition, and standard that you have to follow whenever you do Army shit. They have to follow this. They have to teach soldiers, and they have to push out this product, which is a sniper. By the time you get out, that's what you're supposed to be. And their pass rate is so high, still following all these standards, that I was like, well, that would make for a good school. That means that you have good instructors. You have, people who can explain things to Joe in a way that Joe can understand. And the whole idea of an Army school is supposed to be, as I understand, you should be able to take a soldier from basic training, put him in an Army school, and he should be able to accomplish the tasks within these school and pass and graduate. We actually had one private. Almost everybody there was either a staff sergeant, a sergeant, or an E4. We had one private.
That poor bastard.
Oh yeah, we gave him a lot of shit, but he was there for it. So it was good. He got treated the same as me. He got treated everybody else. Everyone got treated like adults.
Yeah, but having been that private at one point in my life, I do remember walking into rooms and being like, let's see, I have 18 bosses, Bob.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
this is gonna. Yeah. Well, shit. I don't even have a friend I can complain to.
Yeah. Well, so there was a private there, and this private was super green. I think he might have been 6 months out of basic or some shit. I think. I mean, don't quote me on this. I didn't talk to him that much. He's a fucking private. I don't care. No, I'm just kidding. So he was super, super new, and he made it through the course. He graduated. So that right there is, should be a testament to the instructors right there, is they took somebody who's some cherry ass soldier and made him a sniper.
That's impressive. That's impressive. But so, and folks, here's why that's impressive, right? You have to remember, as you go through basic training, you are there with some 150, 200, 300 other people, a vast majority of which the first time they have held a gun, let alone fired a gun, is in basic training. Now, whether or not this was this young man's background, right? Usually you don't see that when people get to sniper school, but it could happen. So we got some, 20-something-year-old young gentleman going to the best marksmanship school in the world, and he was able to pass it through. That, you know what? That really is a testament to the instructors.
Yeah.
That really is.
Yeah, it was whenever graduation day rolled around or whatever, it was some of the people who didn't make it, because there is, not everybody's gonna make it. It's not basic training where out of that 150 students, maybe one or two get dropped. This was, out of I think the maximum you can start with, because of the way that ATARS works, it's an Army school platform where basically they have two 16-seat courses, and they put those together and make a 32-seat course. So out of those 32 seats, like that's what you can start with. But we had 4 people fail group in, and we had some walk-ons. So we actually started the course with 30. So like there was 34 instead of the 32, and 4 people failed group in. So then we started the course with 30. We ended up losing 4 there and 5 throughout the course, and we gained 3 during phase 2, which that was something I didn't even know until I got there, that you could fail phase 1 and you'd have to come back and start phase 1 all over. But if you fail an event in phase 2, then you can come back and just do phase 2.
That's convenient.
Yep.
All right. Are there any snipers who get their periods?
Yes.
Way to throw him a curveball, Kent.
Well, I was trying to think of a semi-PC way to answer it, because I was like, there's a lot of people in the Army who are bitches, and I'm talking about the dudes. No, so there is one female who has passed the U.S. Army sniper course. She passed the one in Georgia a few months ago, and I believe that she's a Montana Guards person, service
member.
Yeah. So
is that hold on? Is that the first woman to make it through Army Sniper School?
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yep.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if they would if they had let women into that school yet. But
yes,
that's awesome.
women can go to the U.S. Army Sniper course. That is a thing.
Now, would they actually serve as snipers though?
Why not? I'd take a woman.
Well, I've got no issues with it, but Big Army has other ideas, right?
It's not really their call.
This is true.
Things that go down within, like for me, I've been the sniper section leader of the 120th Infantry for like almost 2 years now, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And things that go on within my section are like between me and the S3, and then that goes up to the battalion commander. So if we hold tryouts and a female comes to tryouts and she passes tryouts and she, is the best candidate, she can super come over to my section. I would love to have a female sniper. That'd be awesome. But unfortunately, like, we never have females come to selection,
Yeah, it's more of a lack of those willing to try, I guess.
Yeah, it's not like we're like, no girls allowed. It's just we don't ever have girls come to selection. And then,
I feel like you need to point out that today is International Women's Day.
It is indeed. It is. It's something.
How appropriately timed, Kent. That
I just feel the need to point out. And then after I say that, I'll say this. Dude, you could get away with a lot with a female sniper.
What do you mean?
I mean, she could be like buying the groceries or knitting or something, and all of a sudden, whoop, pow! You don't even see it coming.
She's in her sniper hide ironing and making sandwiches. You chauvinist.
She can pretend.
It's part of her disguise. Duh.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's just no. There's one female who has been through the U.S. Army Sniper course, and she passed. And that was at the school in Georgia. That happened a few months ago. And again, like I said, there's just no females come to selection.
I feel the need to point out that what's cool about that is when you look at schools like that, specifically sniper school, just kind of based on what I'm hearing, and Cam, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but the because of the mechanism that the standards of which the standards are measured, right? Your ability to apply the practical, or the ability to practically apply the skills and lessons that you're taught in the classroom portion, right? There's no really, there's no way for them to like water down or make different standards based on gender. And I say that because if you look at what has been the standard Army physical fitness test for the longest time, not only is there a different grading scale for age, but there is a different grading scale for gender. Yeah, that has recently changed not too long ago.
Yep. I actually, I've done the ACFT now, the new one. I've done the ACFT now a couple of times, and like basically the way that the standard is right now is in order to pass, you have to get 70 or 60% in each event. You know, like that's fun. A standard that I have instituted within my section is everybody has to maintain 70% or above to be in sniper section, to be in my section. And I can, I can hold them to that higher standard because we are a special section. You know, it is a special job.
Yeah, it's a special assignment.
Yeah.
All right.
So it's not like being. Yep.
First woman to graduate from U.S. Army Sniper Course. U.S. Army Sniper Course, Fort Benning, Georgia, just had its first female graduate. Montana Army National Guard member who is not being identified by name completed the 7-week course on 5 November. See this as a historic moment, huge achievement not only for her but our organization. Soldier joined Montana National Guard in 2020, so she had been a service member since 2020.
Yeah, so still new.
Yeah. Relatively later completed a 4.5-month-long training at Fort Benning. Leadership recommended her for sniper school, which has a high attrition rate, according to this individual. The soldier was born and raised on Montana, she said. Makes sense. She probably shot a bunch of mooses and shit. I might add that last part.
Makes sense. She probably shot a bunch of mooses and shit. Is the plural of mooses, Kent?
It might be meese. Is it meese?
It might be meeses.
I don't know. I just thought that's really cool. And they didn't name her either. So are you in danger by telling the world that you're a sniper now? Oh
yeah, for sure. I'm super in danger right now.
So okay, so
probably.
I think this is the absolute. This is what I absolutely wanted to make sure I asked you coming on this show.
Oh shit!
With everything, based on the preface, right? 14 and a half years. This has been your childhood dream. The manual is your Bible, right? You read it cover to cover.
A few times.
Multiple times, right? My question for you is, Cam, was there anything that was taught at the school that you did not already know? And plot twist, if that is not the case, is there anything that you had an understanding of that was modified, changed, or improved?
That's what I was about to say. Was okay. So, I have a lot of long range experience. I have a lot of time in sniper sections. You know, I've been in sniper sections on and off since 2007.
Right.
You know, I've got a lot of time and experience in this field. But I went into this school with the mindset of I am a student. I don't want to go into this thing and be like, I know everything. Y'all can't teach me shit. You know, like
have you seen the episodes of the podcast I've been on?
Yeah, I did not want to go into it like that at all. Not only because, you know, like that's an arrogant shithead thing to do, but also because, like, you know, I don't know everything. You know, like you guys say all the time, you know, you're always a student. You are always a student, even as an instructor, you know. So what are you drinking, Kent?
High quality H2O, Baba Boucher.
Is that really what that is?
Yes.
In a mason jar.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So anyway, so then I thought he was going to say something cool like Shine or whatever that he made himself in a toilet bowl. But so I didn't want to, you know, I wanted to go into this school like I don't know everything and, you know, all that other stuff and whatever. And like one of the first things that they said to us is they were like, hey, we know some of you guys are like PRS shooters and professional shooters. And, you know, and some of you guys probably have, you know, more shooting competition experience than anybody else here. You know, like there's, you know, that they made that very, very clear that they knew that not everyone here is like, you know, some cherry ass private.
One of you guys might even have your own rifle round. I'm just saying.
Yeah, some of you might have invented your own rifle card. Yeah, so like they made it, very clear that there isn't just one way to do anything. So whenever I went into the school, like my thought process was, I was like, I'm going to do things the way they want me to do it. Like, I'm not going to do it Cam's way. Everything they wanted me to do, I did their way. And there were some things that I was like, okay, that's a different way to do it. And so I will say, like, I learned different ways to do stuff, but there was things that I would have done it this way and we would have come to the same answer, but it would have just been a different, route that I would have taken. And I'm not saying that their route was wrong at all. Obviously it works. It was just, like, this is my way, this is their way, and I'm going to do it their way because they're the ones teaching the course, this is their standard. And like, for example, using night vision, there are different ways that I have used night vision on weapons when we did the course. And I was like, okay, like with the equipment that we had there, like I'm used to using, for lack of better words, better equipment.
Of course.
So then I had to like figure out how to do some of this stuff with Army equipment,
That's a
common
misconception, actually.
What is it?
Well, people think that the military has the best of the best of the best of the best of the
Not
best.
even close.
Right.
No, yeah, far cry from it.
So it's funny that you say that. I've got like a couple of funny stories from school about just that very topic. My partner, Murphy, got issued a 110. That's the SR-25 Knights Armament 308 semi-automatic sniper rifle. And he got issued one that was a franken fuck up of a gun. It was like some wonky ass handguard, and like you could tell shit had been Lego-fied onto this gun, and it was not happy with the way that it was put together because he was shooting some fucked up groups. Like he would get like 2 shots stacked, and then he'd have one go like a mil high and a mil right, and then he'd have one go like 2 mils low and a mil left, and then he'd have one right back into the group. And I was like, I'm over here, this guy's partner, looking through a spotting scope like, oh shit, this guy's going to be my fucking partner, and luckily he was like, you get behind the gun and shoot it then. And I was like, okay. And I got behind the gun and I replicated his results. And I was like, whew, the gun's fucked up. It's not my partner. My partner's not retarded. The gun is. So then an instructor came by and was like, what's wrong? And I was like, my partner's gun, you gave it to him and it's like a Lego thing. And it was like all, he's like, well, what's actually wrong with it? And I was like, it's shooting all weird. And he's like, no, what's wrong with it? And I'm like, shit's all fucked and retarded. And he was like, okay. So then, he like gets down behind the gun and he shoots it. And he was like, wow, this shit's fucked and retarded. And then, got up and walked away. And then another instructor walked up and was like, hey, that guy said something's wrong with your gun. What's wrong with your gun? And I was like, haunted. The gun is haunted. And they were like, all right, we're taking this gun off the line. So they took the gun off the line and gave Murphy a brand new SR-25 M110. Like he got a brand spanking new gun. Oh, and for, the nerds out there, almost all of our guns had Lord of the Rings names. Yeah, so that was kind of cool. We had to name our guns. So we named them Lord of the Rings names.
What was your gun's name?
So our M110s were, so I had initially named mine Lucille and he named his Sam. But then whenever we had to swap them out, it was Legolas. Mine was Legolas, his was Sam. Our 2010s were Merry and Pippin. And the 50 was Gimli.
Nice.
Yeah, I approve of these names.
Yeah, so that was what we named our. So that was the 2010. Like he had some shit 2010 or 110. I'm sorry, and he ended up getting a brand spanking new one. So we were rocking and rolling once we both had new like really good guns. Well, then we get issued our 2010s, and Murphy's 2010 is shooting like 3,100 feet per second. So he had a fucking laser beam of a gun. And mine was shooting 2660. Mine was a meatball launcher. So I was pushing 308 velocities with my 300 Win Mag. Yeah, and I had
So
to keep
which one is the 2010 platform?
bolt action 300 Win Mag.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was pushing 308 velocities with my fucking with that gun, but it shot good groups. It still shot like half MOA, so I was like, I'm gonna keep it. Yeah, not my best decision, but we kept it and we did fine.
That's really weird to see that kind of
Range?
velocity. No, that velocity difference. Yeah, that deviation.
Yeah, like that kind of range and velocity. Yeah,
between same platform,
same ammo,
just two different guns, exact same ammo, down to the lot number.
It was the same ammo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And wow, did you guys ever figure out what was causing that?
It was like that. You have barrel life. Like you have to record how many rounds you fire every single day, so that then at the end of the course you can say like, this is how many rounds I fired through the gun throughout the course. And then they keep track of that at the schoolhouse. And once a gun starts to be shot out, then they send it back to get replaced and stuff like that. So
what's shot out for a 300 Win Mag bolt gun?
5 rounds.
Yeah, 3.5. The 3.5 is big. So for a 300 Win Mag, I would say probably 5,000, 6,000 rounds. And for like a 308, it would be like close to 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and every gun is a little bit different, like some a little bit earlier, some a little bit later and whatever. But apparently mine had a lot of rounds through it. And they were like, we don't know why this one's still here. And I was like, it's fine. I'll use it. It's fine. Oh, no. And we had a pistol match while we were there too. So like it wasn't for do what?
Did you win?
I did. I had the fastest time in the class. So yeah, it was pretty cool. But I had told you had said, did I make friends at school? Like that was one of your questions was, did you make friends?
Well, I'm a dad. I have to ask these questions.
Yeah. You're like, did you make friends? Yeah. So here's the thing. When I first got there, I was like, hey, I'm this and this and this and this to the other students, like whenever we were back at the barracks and stuff like that. I was like, I shoot competitively. I've got sponsors. I invented my own rifle cartridge. I'm a reloader. I know a lot about this stuff. If you guys have questions, come ask, like that kind of thing. And I felt like I had to build a resume for people to trust that they could come ask me questions.
Yep.
And I think I just did it too much where people were like, they didn't like me because they were like, this guy's being a cocky asshole and he thinks he knows everything. So then like towards about halfway through the course, somebody had told me that was like what I was pushing out. So I quit talking to people about halfway through the course.
Okay, fair.
I was like, I was trying to help you guys. Good luck.
So talk to me about this pistol match. I want to hear all about the pistol match.
All right. So the standard was you have a M17, which is the SIG 320. You have an M17 pistol and a 20 round mag, some shit like that. My partner was like, I shoot USPSA all the time. Get ready to meet your maker, old man. And I was like he was one of those he was like, you might know how to shoot a bolt gun, but do you even pistol, bro? Like that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I might have dabbled in pistol back in the day, back when I were a younger man. So we get up on the line and it's just me and Murphy. And what you have to do is you have a start point over here and you both take off running. You fire at a target that was roughly 15 meters away and about 8 inches in diameter. So you run down, fire, run back to the start point, run back, fire, run down, run back, fire. And you're shooting at, there's different targets. There was like 5 targets. And then you have a Texas Star at the same distance. So you run back and forth like those 4 or 5 times. And after you hit those targets, then you work on the Texas Star. And so I was just over here like, I have to beat my partner. And that's it. I was just like, I just have to beat Murphy because he's been talking shit. And then it turned out I ended up having the fastest time in the class because I was just, I used to shoot a lot of USPSA and shit.
Gun have a dot on it?
No. They did have one for us just to try out though. And I was like, what is this? I've never pling, 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 pling. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
What is what a dot on a pistol? Who even?
Who'd have thunk it?
I was like summoning my inner Scott Jedlinski and Gil Narvez. I was like,
Yeah. What you're telling me is there's one event at sniper school that I could do well in.
There was, yes.
You're real pretty. He was about to say there was more than one, but then he's like, nah,
you're bro. Pretty, Kent. You are a handsome boy. You'd be the handsomest boy in the class.
Hey, you be proud. You be proud of old Kent there, buddy. Man, he's lost. Essentially a teenager.
Well, like so. Whenever I see because for those of you playing the home game, I've never met Kent in person. Still, now to this day, we've been friends for a long time.
Yeah, that's true.
Still not met him in person. But when I see him in pictures, I feel like he's standing next to giants in every picture. So in my head, I'm over here like, oh, there's Yarpin over there because I think he's like fucking this tall.
Mm-hmm.
That's a Witcher reference.
I get it.
Okay.
I've seen a couple episodes.
I am 5 foot. I'm 5'8" in work boots.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, we can work with that.
Right now, I got slippers on, so I'm about 5'3".
You're so cute. You're adorable. But I'm in the Witcher books right now. I'm on the Blood of the Elves, so it's like the third Witcher book.
I feel like I can relate because I just recently switched over from playing Call of Duty to playing Elden Ring.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Why are we so fucking nerdy? Like, why is this? Why are you the way that you are?
I'm the fourth one on the room. I'm just saying.
That's not all that much of an inaccurate statement there, Kent. I tried to explain it like to myself once, like, why are we nerds?
Yeah. Why are we fucking nerds?
I haven't come up with an answer. Nothing. I got nothing.
I got shit. Yeah,
the fun thing is, though, the funny thing is that people who think they are not nerds are in fact nerds.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, like I know I'm a nerd, but I'm okay with being a nerd because like like whenever we were younger, being a nerd was like, you know, this like real negative thing. You're like, you didn't want to be a fucking nerd because you have that stigma of you're getting shoved in a locker and shit like that. But then like we had this like paradigm shift of culture where it was like now nerds are the dudes who are like, you know, still going to the gym and like, you know, and dating girls, weirdos. And those dudes are the ones who are like, you want to go watch Lord of the Rings? Y'all want to go play Halo? You know, like that was a cultural thing that like us 3-ish, 2.5, were going through whenever we were growing up, to where like we had that shift where now it's okay to be a nerd. But it was just not okay around the same time to be a nerd. So like we have this comfortable discomfort with being nerdy.
You know, it's
fascinating.
I'm reminded of two things. One, the meek shall inherit the earth, and number two, the what was it? The 21 Jump Street movie, where they come back with the one with Channing Tatum and
yeah, no, I know the movie, but what part of the movie are you talking about?
So when they first go back to high school and Channing Tatum is trying to he's like, yeah, you don't strapping it? What are you doing? And they get there and he's interacting with the cool kids and they're like, yeah, man, it's biodiesel. Got to be thinking about the earth and shit, bro.
Yeah, and it was like he said something like that's gay, and he was like, you have a problem with people being gay? And he was like,
what, you hit him because he's gay? No, no.
And it was like, oh my God. Yeah. So then like that to me is like extraordinary. The perfect example. I've been drinking. Henry Cavill, king of the nerds, The Witcher, builds his own PCs and shit for gaming. And he's like, he goes to Comic-Con and shit like that. And he's fucking Superman.
Yeah. Like, and also missed the casting call. Or almost missed the phone call to let him know that he got the Superman part because he was playing World of Warcraft.
Yeah, big fucking nerd. But I mean, big fucking nerd. That dude is jacked.
Yes.
Speaking of being jacked, you been doing the whole jiu-jitsu thing?
Yeah, still doing it. I will be honest, there was about a month and a half where my life absolutely sucked and I just couldn't make it to class. But yeah, still going strong. Up to my 4th stripe now. Yeah, doing really, really well.
So my body is getting used to jiu-jitsu again, clearly, because I'm a banana right now. But I had to take like 3 months off, 2 months for sniper school and a month before, so I didn't get injured before I went to school.
Right.
So like I took like 3 months off, and then I came back and I was like, I'm rolling with all you motherfuckers, because I didn't get to roll with anybody for like 3 months. I missed my people so much, and then I got to go back to class, and I was just like, I missed you guys. And then of course the boss, my professor, Ben Holder, he was like, hey buddy, and I was like, hey, you want to do some flows, some technique stuff, some self-defense, whatever. He's like, no, we're just gonna roll. And I was like, okay. So like as soon as I got back, he just wanted to roll with me. I was like, okay. He's like, let's see what you forgot.
Everything. I forgot it all.
All of it's gone. Just yeah. But getting back to jiu-jitsu was awesome. I'm super glad I'm back on the mats and stuff like that. I seriously missed it while I was gone. Yeah, that was.
You go back and tell them you're a sniper?
I think they knew, because I'd posted in the page that, hey, the reason I'm gone is I'm at sniper school. So, yeah, because they have a Facebook page or whatever, and I was like, hey, I haven't quit, I'm not done with the school. I'll see you guys in a couple of months, kind of thing.
You're like, okay, I must have got his blue belt because he quit.
Yeah. Oh, that's a funny thing. You said that you're up to your 4th stripe, right?
Yeah.
So we had an in-house promotion ceremony where somebody got their blue belt and a couple of people got stripes on their belt or whatever. And Ben, the professor, he called my name, and I walked up to get a stripe on my belt, and I was like, "Are you mad at me?" And he was like, "No, buddy, you did good." And I'm like, "Okay." And then walked off, and he was like, "Why'd you ask me if I was mad at you?" And I was like, "I wanted to stay a no stripe white belt forever." He was like, that's real shitty of you. And I was like, yeah. But yeah, so I have a stripe now. Only been doing it for 5 years.
You're getting there.
Yeah.
You're getting there.
Yeah.
So let's learn some things about some snipers.
What would you like to learn? I am not the foremost expert in all things sniper.
Well, here's the deal. You're the sniper of this 3-person panel.
This is a true statement.
That's a very true statement.
So
yeah, Cam's seen me shoot long range-ish.
Designated marksman ranges. What do you? I need a more specific.
How does the army still utilize snipers?
Improperly.
Okay.
Like most things that the army does.
I knew you'd have some spice. Let's hear it.
Well, so the way that a sniper section is put in place, and I hate to say this, but the Russians use snipers better than we do. So and also the additional training and funding for stuff like that or whatever. Basically, if you want to be more effective, you need to spend your own money. And that sucks because, the army has pots of money for everything. But, basically, you have 10 snipers, 9 snipers really, and a sniper section leader for a battalion. And these guys are to support the other elements within the battalion.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so you've got 3 sets of 3. So you've got your shooter, spotter, and support element whatever he might be. He might be, if snipers were M-towed machine guns, then I would say that guy should carry a machine gun, but you're not M-towed a machine gun. So that guy might be like an RTO or a radio operator. Or he might be, he's something to support the other two snipers, but he's also rotational. Like he can do the same jobs they do. But if you're like the primary job of a sniper, the primary role of a sniper, and it says so in the books and everything, is to deliver long range precision rifle fire on key targets, select targets, and targets of opportunity. The secondary role is to collect and report battlefield information. So your jobs are trigger puller for real far and real important targets and reconnaissance. So if your battalion doesn't know what to do with you except for use you for route clearance missions, you're going to have a bad time. So you kind of have to sell yourself in battalion meetings and brigade meetings and stuff like that, and in order to get work, basically. So it's like you have to be able to sell your people and say, hey, these are our capabilities. This is something that we can provide for you. This is a thing we can do for you. If you want our help, because you have to be really humble whenever you do it. You can't just say, you're going to use my snipers to do this and that and the other, because it doesn't work that way.
Right. Is it almost like you have to kind of remind them of what it is you do here?
Sort of. It's like they know what you do, but they don't know how to apply that. So they're like, we have this really good asset right here, but we don't know how to use this asset.
It's like I have ketchup. I'm gonna put it on corn.
Yeah. Or if it's the army that we're talking about, you've got bread and peanut butter, and you've got bread and jelly, and you just them together.
So you can enjoy all the flavors.
Yeah.
For the audio folks, he put his hands together backwards.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Look, he's a little rusty. We'll get him back into it.
To be fair, there could also be blind people not watching the podcast but listening on YouTube.
There could be.
Yeah.
I feel like it's really insensitive for YouTube not to make these videos in Braille.
That's a thing. That, you know what? That might be $1 million idea right there.
I don't know. This show would be pretty bumpy in Braille.
Soft in all the right places.
As you guys may or may not know, I basically took a year off of competitive shooting. Actually, over a year.
Yes.
After I shot Snipers Unknown in 2020, I haven't shot another match since then. In that time frame, my primary sponsor they're still open. I don't know what's going to happen with their company, and I don't want to speak on it because I don't know. But basically, that was kind of like the way that I shot competitions was, like a sponsor would sponsor a match, and then they would get, seats in a match, and then I would fill one of those seats. So I've been invited to a couple of matches to go shoot, and I've been like, oh, how much is it? And they're like, $400. And I'm like, I'm gonna have to sit this one out. So I have not been to a match in over a year. So I can't even call myself a competitive shooter anymore. So I haven't shot a match in over a year. I've worked a couple of matches. And I don't have anything on my calendar right now to shoot either.
Have you considered putting together another DMR match?
I have. So the problem with that is one of the companies that sponsored my former DMR match is holding their own now.
Gotcha.
Whatever happened to the Ash Hess thing?
Quantified performance.
Yes.
I worked a quantified performance match a few months ago. But yeah, that's still going strong. Ash actually asked me if I would be interested in being the match director for one in South Carolina that they're doing. But like I've been so busy here lately that like I was just like there's no way. And not only that, like while I was at sniper school, my landlord upped my rent $250 a month. Not 25, not 50, $250 a month increase. So I was like, well, I'm going to have to move. So I'm in the process of like packing shit up and getting ready to move now. So I'm going to have to move here soon. So I'm looking for a house, looking for land, going to work, going to the gym, going to jiu-jitsu. That's pretty much it. Yeah. Well, and gas is expensive as shit.
Yeah, can't you solve that? You're a sniper now. Can't you go kill the right people?
Is that how that works?
I believe they would fall under targets of opportunity.
Yeah. Key targets. Yeah. Key targets, select targets, targets of opportunity.
Speaking of just side convo, what is gas in your area right now, Cam?
419.
Good God. Can't. Go ahead.
I'm also right next to South Carolina, and it's usually like 10 cents cheaper there. So on my way through South Carolina, on my way back, it was actually 20 cents cheaper. It was $3.99 in South Carolina. But then I got here to my house, and it was $4.19, and I was like, shit. Because I just filled up my truck yesterday. Mm-hmm. I have a 2020 Ford Ranger. Filled it up yesterday, drove it to work, jiu-jitsu in Spartanburg, and then back home, and I'm just over a half tank, and it was $75 to fill up. So I've basically spent about $35, $36 in gas just today driving. So,
good God, Kent, what about you? What's it up there in PA?
I don't know. The company pays for it.
Nice.
Must be nice.
I genuinely don't even look.
Is it because it would hurt your heart?
Mm-hmm. No, I'm seeing. Soph told me it was like 420 right around here.
Yeah, that's about where we're at too.
And then she's like, I'm gonna take James to see the other moms. I'm like, where are the other moms? And she's like, they're in Africa. We're gonna drive there. I'm like, bitch, what are you doing?
You know, Kent.
Cheaper to buy a plane ticket.
You know, Kent. Every 60 seconds in Africa, a minute passes.
Damn it, I missed you, buddy.
Yeah,
I missed you too. I also, I don't know if you noticed, like I quit doing the suck the day's dick videos and shit.
Right, because you're a professional. You're a quiet professional now.
Yeah, I got to be a professional. No, it was, I quit doing those. YouTube videos basically stopped like 2 years ago almost. I did post one where I was evaluating a scope or whatever. My YouTube. I don't post a whole lot on Facebook or Instagram anymore, you know, because I'm a wanted man these days. No, I was getting so much like hate mail from like random shit or whatever that I was just like, you know, I was doing this to try to like brighten other people's days. And these people are like fucking up my day because I'm trying to help other people. I'm good.
Yeah.
I've helped enough people.
No, I hear you there.
It's just not worth it anymore.
It's not.
I will say this though, with the podcast, you know, I can't say we get any hate yet.
Yeah,
I get hate all the time.
Maybe that's that's because you're on the show with me. But it's the hate with love in it. Like,
no, there's a dude in Ohio that does not like me one bit.
Why?
Because I'm vulgar, and as a firearms professional, I should uphold a higher level of standards. And couth, the word couth was used.
Do I need to call his mother?
No, I said, dude, I don't know what couth means.
Good. That's the response I wanted to hear.
Yeah.
You take your fancy learned language and you fuck right off, sir.
I said with all due respect.
He did. Yeah. He did say it.
But you know,
he did say, he's like, did you realize you said tard waffle 11 times on the podcast? And I was like, it was only 11?
Thank you for your dedicated viewership.
Yeah. Like, wow, you kept a, but that guy's like also your biggest fan because he kept a tally.
He kept,
he like kept count.
Borderline stalker.
Mm-hmm.
Did he get your number?
Oh, like, I know him. I know who he is.
Is he cute?
No. He's a member of a fraternity of firearms instructors that I'm also a member of.
Does that fraternity have a name that you can disclose on the podcast, Kent?
Yeah, he's a master of many ranges. Okay, it's range master.
Oh, yeah, okay.
No idea what that is. It sounds made up.
Well, I mean, it was someday.
Technically, it was made up.
Too.
Yeah, I mean, okay, that actually kind of has some weight to it.
Yeah. No,
hey, look, we mark the podcast explicit content. Get the fuck over it, guys.
He's being real serious. He's
like I feel like whenever I was coming onto the podcast tonight, because I do watch y'all's podcast still, jerk. I felt like I was like, man, I don't really have anything like new to contribute other than I went to sniper school recently. Like other than that, it was like, before it was like, oh, I'm going to this match, and I'm doing this, and I've shot this, and I've been reloading this, and and I always had something, like not just something. I always had like 50 somethings to talk about. And then this time I was like, this is very one track, and I was like, man, they're gonna get bored of me. They're not gonna call me anymore. They don't love me.
That's not true at all.
No, we love you.
I feel like I was gonna be boring tonight because I was like,
I don't think you could if you tried.
I could be boring. If you saw me in uniform, you'd be like, this dude is boring as shit, because I have to like push off that persona of a professional whenever I put on the uniform. So
give me an example.
I'm a firm believer that I'm not a senior NCO because a senior NCO is an E7, but I'm in a senior position. You should not drink with your juniors.
Fair.
So me and another staff sergeant were out drinking at a bar, and the staff sergeant was like, hey, this soldier and this soldier are coming out to come drink with us. And I stopped drinking right away. And I was like, well, there goes all my fun right there. So then I stopped drinking. They showed up, and I was like, yeah. I was ready to go at that point because I wanted to leave because I don't want soldiers to see me that way.
Right.
It's a different kind of environment. So like, also, like if I have a problem with a soldier, they will never hear about it because that's not my job to tear them down. My job is to make them better, So if I have a problem with a soldier, it'll be like, I don't say, hey, I have this problem with you. I don't like your attitude. I don't like this. I don't like that, whatever. I just like, I need to figure out a way to make this better, to make this soldier better, to make this situation better, to make us work better together and whatever. And sometimes people just don't want that, but my job, I feel like as an NCO is to one, train soldiers. Like your job is to train soldiers. Like there's more than 5 pieces of doctrine that say that once you become an NCO, part of your job is to train juniors. And make sure that your soldiers are in the right place at the right time with the right equipment in the right uniform, and to protect your soldiers, career or otherwise. So, like I feel like I've had some like really bad leadership, and I've learned more from my bad leadership than I learned from my good leaders. Yep. Because I was like, I never want to be like that guy. And I've tried to push that really, really hard. And whenever I see somebody being a complete dickhead in the Army that's equal rank or above my rank, I will call them out fast as shit because I've been under really bad leadership before. And now that I am in a leadership position that's, pretty high up, it's like not as a staff sergeant, but as a section sergeant. then it's like I have no problem telling this person, hey, you're doing this wrong, like that kind of thing. And but I don't think that your job is to like tear down soldiers and just make their life suck so they want to either kill themselves or get out of the army.
Mm-hmm.
Your objective is to make them want to come to work and make them effective at their job and build them up and stuff like that, even if it kills you on the inside. That whole selfless service thing.
Yeah, kind of like that should be a core value. It should be,
right?
Yeah, I bet it would fit really well on a bumper sticker.
That core values and the NCO creators are like, you say it in school and then people don't abide by it at all. Like they forgot it as soon as they graduated school or whatever. And I try to hold on to it as best I can, but it's like whenever you see other people just completely shitting on it, you're like, do you not remember? Do you not remember the thing that you learned? You learned the thing.
Yeah.
Words mean things. Okay. So getting back onto the topic with the sniper school, I've got to know this. Exactly how hard was the stock phase?
My partner and I passed it G1, but we were one of only I think 4 teams that passed G1 in the first stock. The stock that we did for score was the hardest stock that I've ever done in my life because the sun was in our eyes. We had to stalk down a hill, and it was a snow stalk, so there was snow everywhere. So
it snows in Arkansas?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was like 29 degrees was probably the average temperature at sniper school.
Oof.
Yeah, it was fuck off cold. But yeah, that was the hardest stalk that I've ever done. But again, I've been doing this since 2007. So
I used to have to stalk uphill in the snow both ways.
Yeah, in black and white.
Just to get to the school
advantage. Yeah, so like I've been doing this for a long time and stuff like that. So it was like my partner. So the reason that Murphy wanted to partner up with me, I met Murphy at infantry school. And that was where we found out that we were both going to potentially be going to sniper school at the same time. And, we talked guns, we talked, whatever. And the big thing that Murph pushed over to me was he was like, hey, I'm really good at stalking because he lives in Texas where whenever he does stalks, he has to do stalks in tall grass. And that's all he's got. And then like for me, he was like, you're really good at the shooting and the ballistics part. He was like, I'm really good at the stalking part. So together we're going to be like mayonnaise and pickles, it's fucking good combination. And then, we get there, or lamb and tuna fish, whatever you prefer. So then we get there and, and I didn't say anything. We shoot. I found out that Murphy's a good shooter. So he wasn't a garbage shooter or anything like that. Like, it wasn't like, hey, I'm really trash at shooting, but I can stalk the shit out of stuff. No, he wasn't a bad shooter. He understood the math. It was like all of that stuff. He was really perceptive. He learned like you're supposed to in an Army course and with really knowledgeable instructors and everything. And then it came time for stalks. And Murph was like, you sit on back, old man. I'm going to show you how this is done. So we do our first PE stalk, and he got caught. And keep in mind, you have to do buddy stalk. So you do it with your partner. So he got caught, and I'm standing straight up, all 5'10" of me, behind a spotting scope with a veil over me, standing at attention, basically, looking at a target, like through a loophole, and he got caught. And he was like, what the fuck was I doing? I was like, you were moving too fast. And he was like, So then we reset, push forward, and, reset positions and whatever. And then he got caught again. And I was like, Murphy!
Thought you were good at this.
Yeah, I thought you were good at this. Well, so then
you oversold your skills, son.
Yeah, I thought you said you were going to be the stalk guy. I was going to be the shoot guy. You remember? Well, he didn't know that I was really good at stalking too. So then we start doing PEs, and he was like, hey, you lead this one. So the next one I lead, I like beeline it out to, roughly where our FFP is going to be, our final firing position. I beeline it to our FFP, and I start looking for places where we could have good, like we could do like veg blocks, we could stack veg blocks, and we could shoot through a loophole. And I'm like, hey, Murph, go check that out. See if you can see the truck from there, and I'll wait right here. And he would run over, and he would go see if he could see it. And if he couldn't see it, he would come back to me like, all right, go check over there then. And he would go check over there. And, then we would find a place up there. We would set up. I would find him a loophole, or he would find his own loophole. And then, I'd find my own loophole. We would shoot through loopholes, and we almost never got caught. We got done with one of our stalks that I led in an hour and 30 minutes. We went out, shot, PID'd the target, and exfilled, got 100% in an hour and 15 minutes.
Damn. So, so when you say it was snowy conditions, like how much snow are we talking about?
Ice and snow. So roughly one of the stalks that we did, there was about 3 inches of snow on the ground, but it was also in a vegetated area. So it was like there was pine trees and shit.
Mm-hmm.
So there was that. And then there was another day, like the first graded stalk that we did, there was ice on fucking everything, like tall grass with ice on it. So everything was shiny.
Yeah, so with the ice on everything, or with the snowy conditions, did that make it harder to camouflage your movement?
There are different movement techniques that you use. Okay. And one that I latched onto it because it's always worked well for me is a distance and direction to your target. So how far it is from where you start to where it is. So I've always been one of those people who stacks veg blocks, or I do tree stacking, and it didn't change when I went to sniper school. I did the same thing there, and it worked out, where advancing towards a target, you have a tree in front of you, or you have vegetation in front of you where they can't see your movements, and you walk straight towards the vegetation, and then the target would be, over here somewhere. And, and I would just bounce around vegetation to vegetation, but still moving straight towards the target until you get within, the acceptable range, whatever your FFP range is. I think ours was 300 the whole time. Funny thing also, the graded stalk that we did, we accidentally stalked in too far. We were like 65 meters away from the truck, and Murphy was like, freeze, melt. So then we stopped and melted down to the ground, and I was like, what? And he was like, the truck is right there. And I was like, how far? And he was like, it's got to be 60 meters from us. And I was like, that's fucking close. And he was like, yeah. And I was like, we need to go that way. And he's like, I agree. So we start crawling backwards to, create standoff. And on the way back, I just look over and I see a Christmas tree. And that tree was talking to me. It was not really for my psychologist if you're watching this. So there was this tree, and it was a down Christmas tree, pine tree, whatever you want to call it. And I was like, Murphy, I got a really good feeling about that tree. So we use micro terrain to climb over, to crawl over to the tree. We get to the tree, clip it out. We get inside the tree, find 2 loopholes, and we take our shots from the tree. And whenever the walker came over to us and was like, hey, what's your range to target? Because you have to tell them how far you think you are for your elevation adjustment. And I was like, 100 meters. And he was like, yeah, I'll give you that. So then we shoot, and, we ended up passing. We got, our exfil, all that stuff or whatever. And he told us before we did our exfil that we were 81 meters from the target whenever we made our shots. And we didn't get one.
That's freaking awesome.
So in sniper school, they taught you to sneak up on people so you could tie their shoes without them knowing.
Yeah. No. So that was an extreme situation. That is not something I would suggest anybody do or whatever. But that was a thing that happened, and it was, it was really cool, and it was bragging points with me and Murph and everything like that. And we ended up getting back, and we had G1 the event and stuff like that. So it was just high five parade between me and Murph.
So for real quick, for getting G1, because the stock's probably one of the longer events, I would imagine, or longest lasting events, right?
3 hours.
Yeah. Do you get like so you did it in an hour, roughly an hour and a half, right? Did you get to go back and just like hang out for the rest of the time?
So for the graded one, me and Murphy didn't get our shot off, our first shot, until 2.5 hours.
Okay.
Yeah, it was that hard.
Okay, gotcha.
And I think like only 4 teams passed that G1.
Wow.
Like the stalk was hard. That was the hardest stalk I've ever done, but we passed it.
Good.
But the ones that we did finish super early on, it was super, super cold outside. So we would bring, anticipating that we would, be done before everybody else, we would bring a jet boil and like extra water and coffee and hot chocolate. And we would make like coffee and hot chocolate while we were waiting on everybody. So people would come, like we'd be the first team done. And we'd be like, sitting back here waiting, like already got our ghillie suits off. We've already changed it, got some of the face paint off of us and stuff. And we're sitting here like drinking hot chocolate and coffee. And people are coming in fucking shivering and dying. And we're like, oh man, that looks shitty. That looks awful.
Oh my goodness, this is awesome. Well, I got to tell you what, I must be getting old, but it's getting to be time for bed. So I have one more good question for you that was asked in the chat,
Okay.
which was, now that you've achieved a 14-year lifelong goal.
14 and a half.
Okay.
It was more like a 20-year thing because like I've wanted to do it since I was a kid.
Okay, fine. You're still a kid. Moving on. Now that you've achieved such a lofty goal, what's your next thing in life you're going to go after?
I'm done. Actually, I'm done with life. Like I can just check out now. I'm good. I've done enough. It's good. Just
Awesome.
good. Yeah. No. So I'm a pretty goal oriented person or whatever. And I feel like if you don't have goals, especially in the military, you're not going to want to stay in, and then you're going to be toxic for other people. So, my next goal, achieve it or not, like I really honestly and truly, this is a goal for the sake of having a goal.
Okay.
I would like to go back to Air Assault School because it's the only Army school I've ever failed. So I would like to go back to Air Assault School. I'd like to get another chance at that. Airborne School is almost like impossible for you to get in the North Carolina National Guard. Like you don't get seats to Airborne School in the North Carolina National Guard. It's just you don't get them. They don't.
Which is weird.
We don't have an airborne unit in the National Guard. Like
yeah, but you guys invented flight.
Huh? Oh, first flight. Yeah, and Fort Bragg is home of the Airborne and Special Operations. It says so on the fucking sign. Whenever you drive on to Fort Bragg, it says home of the Airborne and Special Operations. But
yeah, that's what's blowing my mind is that the school is in the fucking state.
No, the school is at Benning.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's
but
right.
the 82nd is at North Carolina. So, and also 3rd Special Forces Group and stuff like that.
Still close enough.
Yeah, but yeah, for you to get an airborne seat in North Carolina is like almost unheard of. Like obviously some people get it, but in the North Carolina National Guard, it's very rare that you get an airborne slot. But airborne school would be cool. I'd like to go to airborne school. Air assault, just because it's the only thing that I've failed in the Army or whatever.
He's back, and now it's personal.
Yeah. And also the other one is so they asked me to put in my packet this year for E7, and I was like not very concerned about it. I was just like, nah, not a big deal. I'll stay a staff sergeant a little longer. And they were like, well, why don't you put in your packet? And I was like, y'all can take my packet if you want. They're like, okay, well, you have to do what used to be SSD3 is now DLC3. They were like, you have to do DLC3. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not that concerned about it. So just submit it without it. And they were like, you might be doing better than you think you are as far as like promotion points and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, so you're telling me there's a chance. And I had asked them to unlock DLC 3 so that I could do DLC 3 so that I could put it, so I could submit a completed packet to potentially get promoted to E7, but it didn't get unlocked fast enough, so I ended up missing out on it anyway. So what that brings me back to is a goal that, you know, it'd be cool is if I made it to the rank of Sergeant First Class.
Awesome.
But that would take me completely out of snipers, and I would be a regular infantry platoon sergeant. Yeah. So you get removed from snipers whenever you get promoted.
Which is also, just for those keeping track, Cam is a staff sergeant in E6 in an E7 role.
Sort of. Yeah. So the way that sniper sections work is, because you're only in charge of like 9 people isn't a platoon, it's a squad.
Right.
So the highest rank you can achieve is the rank of a squad leader, which is E6. But you're feeling like a platoon sergeant-ish role, but you also don't answer to a traditional company first sergeant or company commander. You answer directly to the S3 with anything mission related. Anything that has to do with personnel, that does go to the company level of the first sergeant and the company commander. But if it's mission, it comes directly from the S3. So like my real boss is the S3.
Right.
But if I have something that's personnel related, or, you know, attendance, supply, anything like that, then I have to go to a company commander, the company first sergeant, and say, hey, this is what's going on.
You would think that I wonder if that makes things a little bit easier for you.
No.
Really? You would think so. For the uninitiated, a battalion S3 is a field grade officer or a major, generally.
He's a major.
Yep. A company commander is a captain.
Yep.
Right. Company ultimately does answer also to the S3. So you would think that because you share a boss, that you might be able to.
The part that makes it complex.
Okay, here's a note from the S3. Your boss.
Yeah.
Your boss.
Okay, so that part is nice. That I get to go straight to dad, and I don't have officer would do. It's my responsibility to do. I don't always do it, but it's like it's supposed to be my job to do.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. The reason I say I don't always do it, I'm super fortunate in that I have an additional E6 in my section, and he's been doing the con ops while I've been away. Because like I've been away from my section for like probably 5 months total, because I've had to drill with other units and stuff like that. So like, you know, I've been off and on away from my section, and he's been running the section while I've been gone.
Right.
And so that's been a whole thing in itself. You're not supposed to have 2 E6s in a sniper section, so one of us is going to have to leave eventually. And I feel like that's coming here very soon. And there are things with that in itself where, you know, like this guy's super solid. He was a Marine Corps Scout Sniper. He was Scout Sniper of the Year like more than one time. He's an awesome dude. His name's Andrew Sales. Love the guy to death. He's awesome guy. He's a phenomenal counterpart for me to have. I'm extremely lucky to have him. And he, but you know, like I don't want him to get sent to some fuck ass unit where he gets, you know, slapped in some S shop or something just because they don't have anywhere to put him, you know? So
Right.
like we're running into this situation now where I'm like, I don't want that to happen to him, and I don't want it to happen to me, you know? So like, I don't want it to happen to either of us, but like one of us has got to go. So I think what I'm going to do, and me and him had talked about this a little bit, is I'm going to leave him in my section and he's going to take my job. And I'm going to go over to the other sniper section, 252, and I'm going to go be their section sergeant. That's my plan. Doesn't mean it's going to work out. I might be completely removed from snipers. I might go to a regular platoon. I might go be a regular infantry squad leader or something right after I get back from sniper school. Like it could happen, you know, it's like needs of the army kind of thing. So, I mean, we'll see what ends up becoming of it or whatever.
Right.
Not it's my call, but it's not my call.
Very cool. A man with goals. Well, it's been really awesome to have you back, Jack. Do it again. Back, Jack. Never mind. How with you guys?
I know the song.
Okay. You are deserving of much credit for your recent achievement. Congratulations. It's
Thank
really
you.
cool. Really cool to see you going out and doing the big things and doing the stuff with the guns and the shooties.
Mhm.
It's neat. It's neat to see your career continuing to progress like it is, where like you and I were having cell phone conversations like a year and a half ago when you're like, maybe I might not even stay. Like I might be outsies. You know, it wasn't
That
that
was the
long.
goal.
Wasn't that long ago. So good on you. I hope you get to murk a Russian tank operator or something soon. Wouldn't that be cool?
No,
No, you don't want to murk it?
I don't want to fight the Russians.
No, you're afraid of them?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, fuck
If anybody said that they weren't, they would be uninformed.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's a reason that they're a near peer and not some shithead that's wearing pajamas and shooting an AK.
I mean, I wear pajamas and shoot AKs sometimes.
Well, like the thing that people don't consider about the Russians is they've had a lot of time and experience to and funding, and actually had a structured military, whereas the people we've been fighting for the last 20 years haven't.
Yep.
So, like we're basically fighting ourselves, but better, because every time we do something, it's like the Predator. It's like we're fighting the Predator. Like they learn from the things that we do, and they go, hey, that worked, or hey, that didn't work. Let's do better. The way that the Russians employ snipers is they have entire battalions of snipers. And we use snipers to support our armor and artillery. They use their armor and artillery to support their snipers.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, that's actually been one of the biggest fears in the military as a whole, right? For the last 20 some odd years, is that we've got so embedded in asymmetric warfare or unconventional warfare that when we go back to a conventional warfare, force on force, us versus Russia, us versus China, whatever, that it might not go so well.
Yeah. And I mean, it's not that I think like we would just get our shit handed to us or anything like that by anyone, because, I'm an American and I have pride.
Right.
Like I think we would absolutely just kick the shit out of them, but
it ain't gonna be a walk in the park.
It's not going to be pretty.
Terrifying. Well, why don't we have you back on in a couple weeks to talk about the Russians?
Oof.
That'd be fun.
Can we talk about something else?
Oh, okay.
Can we talk about something else?
Like, Twitter.
It's not that I think the Russians are watching this podcast and being like, not that you guys aren't big. It's not that I think that the Russians aren't watching this podcast and being like, Yuri, get in there. They're talking about us. They're giving away all our secrets. Like, I don't think that's happening. I don't think that's happening right now. But at the same time, like, where do we really stand with the Russians right now? Right now, where does the United States stand with the Russians?
Things were going pretty good when Trump was in office. I'm just saying, they were hanging out.
What are our gas prices doing right now? How do you feel about Ukraine? How many Ukrainians do you know? How many Russians do you know?
I know
personally.
I know one Russian personally, and I know actually quite a few Ukrainians.
Yeah, I used to work in a stone shop, so like working in a machine shop, you're gonna know some Eastern Bloc folk. So maybe a handful betwixt all of us.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then what do you believe that the media is pushing out as true?
Not a goddamn bit of it.
Yeah, so there's entirely too much that we don't know for me to be like, oh, this is gonna be this, or this is gonna be that, or this is gonna be that. Here's what I do know. Gas is going to keep going up. It's going to be expensive as all shit. People are going to die, and we're going to continue paying taxes.
Yep. Well,
yeah.
There's a good answer. There's a good exit. PJ, I'm depressed now. I was very happy about Cam and his sniper school.
And
Now I'm sad and depressed.
No,
now gas prices of the Russians have mired your otherwise shining disposition.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Say the things.
I will. Ladies and gentlemen, that is all the time we have for tonight. Thank you again for joining us for a wonderful episode with. Okay, Cam, what do you got?
You forgot.
What did I forget?
You always ask about like companies that you support.
Oh, yeah. Well, you said you hadn't been shooting and we're talking sponsors and stuff. Go ahead.
That doesn't mean I don't support people that I like.
Okay, fair. Go ahead.
So
folks, reverse that. We have a little bit more time. Cam, the floor is yours.
Okay, so the Sling'N Led Live podcast is obviously up here on the list summers. And then there's Green Mountain Defense. If you want to get training and you're in the PA area, Green Mountain Defense. Fortitude Consulting, if you want to get your pistol on in the North Carolina area, or Apache. I'm now a proud member of ANGSA, which is the Army National Guard Association. And what they do is they sponsor soldiers to go to shooting matches so that they can, learn shit in competition and stuff. Snipers specifically. And Resurgence PPG, which is for wounded veterans. They take them on paramotor rides and stuff like that. And you can damn it, what's the fuck? It's not, you don't sponsor people. You you can do that, but you can suggest.
I adopt a wounded veteran.
Yeah, you can suggest somebody to go
refer,
nominate. You can nominate a motherfucker to go through the thing, and they can potentially get picked up to do it if you know a disabled veteran or something like that you feel is deserving. I didn't word that correctly because they're all deserving and shit like that. Anyway, that was all. I just wanted to throw a couple shout outs out there real quick.
Always appreciated, buddy. Before I go on, Kent, anything?
GreenMountainDefense.com/training. We're doing it all over the place now. So,
did people ask questions?
No. What?
No, I'm just wondering because I haven't been paying attention to the.
No. We've been referring.
We're good.
Oh, okay.
We've been relaying the messages. So,
GreenMountainDefense/training. Come train.
Yes, absolutely. GreenMountainDefense.com/affiliate links for those of you that are going to buy gun stuff. You might as well buy it from affiliates that we have that support the channel. No additional pricing to you, but we get a little kickback for your online purchases. It helps us continue to bring you otherwise stellar and free content every week-ish. With that, folks, of course, if you're going to carry a firearm, you should carry medical. If you're not going to carry a firearm, you should still carry medical. Almost said Green Mountain Defense.
We are selling med kits now.
Yeah, Green Mountain Defense is selling med kits now, but darkangelmedical.com, code BRAVO15. That's BB15 will get you 15% off at checkout. We get no kickbacks from Dark Angel Medical, but if you could throw a note in your order comments, let Carrie Davis know that the Sling'N Led podcast sent you. Show him some love. We would greatly appreciate it, and I know Carrie would too. With that being said, that's all the time we have for tonight. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you on the flip side. Take care of each other. God bless you all, and get out and shoot.